I did, the first batch clinics I did was on the American Carnage tour. You know, the Hartke amps were a big part of the development of my tone in Megadeth years ago back. I started using them, I think, on the end of the Peace Cells tour, and then I moved over to Jackson Bassist. So the Jackson Hartke thing is really, that's the tone, you know. And I continued to use that up until probably about the Euthanasia record, and then tones in the band started to change a little bit. But as we came back this year and began Rust in Peace 20th anniversary tour, I wanted to give the exact look, sound, the whole thing of what the original was, and the Hartke stuff is new and improved, which is great. So it has the, you know, a modern tone to it, but it definitely duplicated that sound exactly as it needed to be. So as a result of that, we went out and we did some clinics, and got a small little window here as we're working on the new album, and getting ready to head to Europe and do the European Carnage tour with Slayer and Megadeth coming up in March and April. So this little window of time worked out really good for me and Frank. And of course we're going to do the Big Four show, first American Big Four show here on U.S. soil, so that's coming up. So it's a good time for me and Frank just to get together and hang and be a couple of bass knuckleheads and, you know, do what we do. On tour, you know, it's funny, my rig on tour is really simple. I have, let's see if they have them here, I don't think they do, but it's this new series of the high drive cabinets, which is both an aluminum and paper speaker cone. So I've got all that spank and snap that I like off the aluminum cone, but the paper actually helps warm it up a little bit. So for songs like Trust and, you know, Tout Le Monde and some of those kind of songs are a little slower and a little wider in the sonic sphere of that, the paper kind of warms that up a bit. So I use two 810 cabinets, and then I use one LH1000 head, and the head is so powerful that I just one head and two cabinets. I literally have the volume on 2. In all the biggest stadiums and arenas we play, occasionally we really push it and go to 2.5. You know, so. But I'm simple. I mean, I have a wireless unit, but I mean, basically I could, you know, theoretically plug a cable right into my bass, go straight into that amp, and I'm good to go. You know, for me, the tone is in the hands and how I play the instrument, and so my rig is really simple, and it's pretty much plug and play and go rock the house. Well, as far as, you know, the Hartke thing has it, when they came out with creating a speaker out of aluminum that's a cutting edge technology, you know, and for a lot of guys that's too bright. It's funny, my tone is very similar to, like, say, a funk and fusion player's tone. You know, it got a lot of top end, a lot of bottom end, and the mids are pretty scooped out, you know, because in our band, that's where all the guitars are. You know, that's where Dave with his tone and Marshall amps, that fills that hole, and that's the sweet spot of our guitar tone, is heavy in the mid-range, as opposed to like a modern or a new metal guitar tone, which is all bass, all mids, and all top with all the mids scooped out. So, you know, for us, we have our guitar tones are pretty much like that traditional kind of European British metal tone, you know. And of course with more modern guitars, so it has a more modern edged sound to it, which created something for me as a bass player to try to get a tone that would work around that. You know, especially now drums with triggers and things, and the amount of top end and things and snap and pop that are put on drum tones. You know, the bass it left a creative little window for me to try to create something, and that's, I think, what the Hartke has done the best for me, is fill that in. I've never been very good with very traditional kind of amplifier and even instrument things. I've always created and built my own tone. I've used unique instruments, unique amplifiers, and I think that for me has really been, again, it comes back to the Jackson Hartke thing. I mean, that was the tone that I think when people hear Megadeth, their ear goes to that, and that's what they want to hear, and that's what I'm doing. You know, a lot of clinics are about them asking questions, you know, because they already know how I play. They've seen the concerts, so they've seen me play. Obviously, it's different if they're only, you know, 10, 20 feet away. They can see specific things and ask certain things, and that's fun. But for me, a lot of it is just being more personable with the fans, because most of them are fans that are there. And it's, you know, to me that's the fun part of a clinic, is that it's kind of like a meet and greet, and only I have a bass in my hand, you know. So if someone says, hey, how do you play Dawn Patrol, or how did you do that lick, and you know, P-cells, or you know, whatever, you know, I can kind of demonstrate that, and a lot of it too is I try to go into kind of teaching some stuff as well, you know, that you don't just end up playing Holy Wars one day. I mean, that's years and years and years of a very methodical process of getting tone, timing, chops, licks, you know, and really it's a lot. So I think that part of what I do in a clinic is trying to kind of also do a little education as well, you know. So it's like, it's fun to go on and be a rock star, but you know, you got to kind of work your way up to it. You don't just end up there. So that's kind of what I like to do in the clinics, is help educate as well as have it be a fun time.